What's going on, guys? My name's Uno.drizz, and today we're gonna make you a preset from scratch for beginners. So if you're a pro watching this video, don't come for me, bro. It's for beginners. People who are just getting into music and just need a preset because they don't know how to mix yet. This video is for you. So let's get into it. Yeah. So I already went ahead and made the preset already beforehand, and I'm just gonna turn each one on and break it down for you. The first step is going to be some type of like tuner. I'm assuming like if you make underground music or just music in general, like you probably want some type of auto tune, even if it's nothing crazy. It really is optional for the most part. If you're just like rapping heavy and you don't want auto tune, feel free to jump to the next step. But I'm gonna go over the auto tune settings. Okay, so as you can hear, I have auto tune on my voice right now, and not all plugins are the same. Not every auto tune is the same. Everyone is going to have somewhere where it says the key and the scale. So for example, you would match it to the beat. Say I find a beat that's in G sharp minor, I would just switch it to G sharp minor. If it was in D minor, I'd put it into D minor. And then every one is going to have retune speed, and that's basically how strong the auto tune is going to hit. So say if I turn it all the way down, like you can hear it, it's not really like it's not going to force me into key. It's not going to tune my voice. But the higher I turn it up, the more auto tune is going to go onto my voice. I'm going to take the auto tune off for now so you guys can hear me better. It sounds a little weird like talking with the auto tune. But next is going to be the first EQ. There's going to be two EQs. So this is going to be the subtractive EQ. And essentially what this does is it cuts out all the harsh frequencies. It is good to have low end in your voice, but not super low. So for example, the further I bring this to the right, it's going to cut more and more of the low ends. So it's just going to be high end in my voice. So you can hear it going away. Then these little points right here. So I did what's called a frequency sweep. So you take one of these points and you would push it all the way to the top, and then you can hear that weird frequency. So I'm just searching for those. Like there's a couple of them. You don't have to get all of them, but it's good to get like most of them. So then you'd find it like where it really hits like pretty hard, and then you would drop it down. You don't want to go too low because it can take out some like good frequencies you want, but you just want to take it out just a little bit, and you would do that for these. Like that would be the same thing, and that is for the subtractive EQ. Next, what I personally like to do is put a compressor. I like to put a compressor next. So as you can see, these waves right here are my voice. So the louder I talk, you'll see it'll peak higher. What the compressor does, it's a compressor, so it compresses the audio to make it more flat. You don't want to overdo the compressor because you can make it sound like really flat, and that's not something you want to do. I usually like to keep it like where the lowest parts of my voice are. I like to put it like there, and then I'll put the ratio. So the ratio is like, it's hard to kind of explain. It's just better to look at it visually, but you can see it's like lowering and compressing it more and more and more. If I have it open, it's not going to be as compressed, but the more I close it, the more compressed it's going to be. So the threshold is kind of like setting like a start point, and then the ratio would be to actually do it. Alright, so the threshold, the audio above the threshold is going to be affected, and the audio below it isn't going to be affected. So I like to put it like kind of where my vocals stop naturally, and then I'll compress everything on top of that. Like the lowest peaks of my vocals is what I'll usually do. The knee controls how the compressor like transitions between compressed and non-compressed audio. The knee doesn't play as big of a factor as the threshold and ratio, but you can still mess with it and toy around with it. And this compressor I'm using right here has a noise gate. So for example, if I drop this threshold down, you'll probably be able to hear some background noise. I'm not sure. But essentially what it does is you can see the line. Like if I push it, anything under that line, you can't hear it. You don't want to put it all the way at the bottom because then you'll be able to hear everything. So I push it like just barely, so that way you can't hear like the background noise, like background static. All right guys, so the next step is going to be the additive EQ. It's always nice to have like a little boost. I cut the lows still just like in the subtractive EQ, but I put a little boost in like the mid to high mid frequency range. I boost it here because especially with my voice specifically, it stands out a little bit more. Like it helps it sit on top of the mix a little bit better. I don't push the highs too much because then you'll get like a lot of those sharp like S's like like popping up. You don't want your S's to be too harsh in your recording. And the next step is the reverb. I'm gonna turn it on now. As you can hear, I got reverb on my voice now. Essentially what it does is it makes the vocal more spacey, like more airy, I guess you could say. It's really good for like slower tempo songs. You're rapping fast for the most part, it's not always the best, or if anything, like have it lower. Like, so for the most part, I make like high tempo songs. I usually turn mine down. Like, I don't usually have mine this high ever. I usually have my reverb on like 8% to 5%, like something real subtle, but it still has an effect, you know? And then lastly, we have delay. Delay is kind of obvious. It's a delay. As you can hear, it's like an echo after every word. And the same way with the reverb, you can turn it up and have a higher delay, so it's like it'll feedback more. And then you can turn it down for like a lower delay, which is what I usually do myself. Like I said, every plugin is going to be different, but I showed the basic parameters for each one, so that way you can tune it no matter what software you're using, what plugins you're using, and you can create an essential preset of your own. For the most part, it's nothing crazy, it's nothing super difficult. As long as you're willing to actually do it and like learn a little bit, you should be fine. And with that being said, you guys have an essential understanding of how to make a preset. As a beginner artist, I hope you guys have fun with it. I hope you guys learned something. Like, I hope I taught you guys something. In the next video, I'm actually going to be using this preset to make a song, so that way you guys know it's not BS. Like, I can actually use it myself. Even though this is not the preset I use, this is still something that anybody can use. It's super simple and gets the job done. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I hope I taught you guys something, and swag.